again for this conference. The title of the conference is The Challenge: Forms of Arts Against or Versus Digitalization of Artistic Content, for which we have two of our friends who are live all the way from Portugal. And with me, Isabel Pinto, who is an actress, also a fado singer, and Joaquim Pavao with us, who is a filmmaker and also an artist. So welcome both of you. Obrigado to have accepted our invitation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your invitation.
Yes. What are your views on the digitalization of artistic content vis-a-vis live performances?
Well, I think that it will never replace. One will never replace the other. We were discussing this, and we were remembering when photography appeared. The visual the painters.
Yes.
They all. There was a big discussion about the painting was ending.
Yeah.
But instead of it, the new painters, the Impressionists that became the Impressionists, they went out to their workshops, their atelier, and they went to pick the moment, just like photography did.
Yes.
So they learned with this new technology, and they got a new step ahead.
Yes.
In painting, and until now, painting is one thing and photography is another one. So I don't think in theater, my subject, I don't think that it will. We can learn with the new technologies. We can discuss what these new technologies bring. Just like what is reality, what is connection between people, because the new internet and the new social networks pose questions. So what is the difference between being together, really being together in reality, in body, in what is the difference in this kind of communication and being like this through a screen. I think it won't replace. Theater won't be replaced by the new technologies, and the new technologies will go on.
Yes, sure. Can you move a little bit of your camera, because time to time Joaquim is also okay.
I'm sorry.
No. Yes, this is good. Brilliant. So what do you think of it, Joaquim? About what Isabel just said? What is your view?
It's a tool. The main difficulty now it's the technology create a better way and the faster way to make things. So we have now a problem that where is the virtuosism, the technique, where it is, because the technology are so easy to produce things that maybe we are getting powdered. We are getting powdered because it's the same. When we see films now, we see the same structures, the same narrative structures, the same visual kind, the same codex, the same, and technology explode this amount of same things. we are in Portugal. We are a small country with no big market. So in this small country, we produce,
Yeah.
and we produce the same thing with the same technology just because it's easy. So it's a problem in life. Per, per, performance, we see we see always these background screens, or these 3D layers, or this, it's
Yeah.
very, we have the mean, but we are start working, we are start thinking, we are now start how how to achieve new things.
Yes.
And this is the hardest thing in this technology world, is the uniformization of all language.
Yeah. And I think it's a very important concern coming out of one concern, which is like digitalization of artistic content against live form of art. There's another concern coming out of it, and which is the uniformity of technological things, and how everything has to be. I mean, has it's not does not have to be, but how everything is becoming uniform because of the technology. All right. Isabel and Joaquim, you are married. You are a couple. And how long have you been married, both of you?
10 years
10
now.
years.
Wow. So a decade of alliance. And it's also with you two an alliance of two different art forms, because Isabel is more a live performer and she performs theater, fado. I have seen her performing fado in a beautiful place near the river in Porto. And Joaquin, you produce fantastic films. The way you capture the visual, the kind of artistic insight you have for making your videos is simply unmatchable. So there is one who is a filmmaker, there is one who is a live performance artist, and there's an alliance coming. How do you two explore it together, the other person's form? Because you also work together.
Well, we fight.
Yeah.
It's, we have we have we talk each other
Yes.
about everything. We spent hours talking about art, about our goals, individually. So Isabel has a way, and I have my way,
You.
and and we are always talking about things.
Yeah.
So this is the base, to to make discussions, and we always make our work, you know the work that we produce is not very important.
Yes.
The most important thing for my, it's how do you connect your work with you, and with your
The world.
yes. So I think the first real thing I can remember to say is that we talk each other a lot.
I see.
This
Isabel,
is the background.
Yes.
what is it for you?
Yeah, it is that we talk. I think when we become somehow artists, whatever that means.
Yeah.
We really need to our first thing to work is our own being.
Yeah.
And we get to discover that within the other. So with the other, together. When we really talk, that's the beginning of it.
That's the really beginning.
We need to discover, and for me as an actress, and I believe every actor, we really need to go deep in ourselves. This is our first knowledge we have from what is what is a human being. So we need to get to know deep ourselves, and that we can do it. And well, I think it's very good to do it with someone,
Yes.
with the other.
Yeah.
So that's why always talk, because we don't have all the answers. We have lots of questions, and our path is making through questions, and our creative process is also made through questions.
Yes. That's how it works. Okay. So, and because you both talk a lot, because you both fight a lot, and because you both come from your different forms of artistic expressions, what are technical and creative difficulties that you face while working with the other art form? You being an actress of live performances, how is it when you work for his films? Or when you shoot, but she has her way of acting or exploring the space. How do you manage her? What are the difficulties? Technical and creative or artistic?
Esse corpo é muito perto. Tira a primeira pedra. É uma sombra negra que sobe e me cobre. Um clarão de sangue depois. O coração na garganta rebenta quase, em lâminas, fagulhas e estilhaços.
Tão perto dela, irmã. Gosto do que faço, mas não gosto da vida que tenho. E não gosto da vida que não vou ter.
Well, you start or I start? Well, for me, technically, well, it is consensual that an actor working for theater or for cinema is completely different, and we need to achieve those tools,
Yes.
technical tools. So, how to build an emotion to a scene in cinema is completely different from building a character through a play that lasts for 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, or 2 hours, and you are building those kind of emotions and all those kind of expressions, and you know where the public is, what do you do, the shape you make, the image you are building, and all that. Creativity. So that is the technical tools that you need to work. For me, Isabel, from the point of view of creativity, well, I have a great challenge, which is to, when I work with the direction of Joaquim or any other direction, as I am used to direct and write the plays I perform with faunas and all those some in my projects, I'm thinking about the whole. I feel this at me. It's that I feel this in me is that I'm always, when as I'm used to create the piece, the piece, I'm always trying to find the whole thing, the sense of it all.
Yes.
And sometimes when you perform, you just need to obey. You just need to accept. You just need to do what they ask you to, and sometimes to release and to be at the ends of the other, in the ends of the other. I need to think of this lots of times.
I see.
And well, that.
Joaquim, what is it for you?
Well, I started as a musician, so I have it's like well, we have ways to make things. So we know a lot of structures and a lot of things that we could do. You know, my way to work with other people is the same way I work with in my job. Is well, I have to build tools in some sort of reality, and these tools I started to put them in a way that a speech has a form. It's kind of we are now talking. And I am a stutter. I think it's stutter, and I speak and I have a very bad English.
Oh, don't worry about that.
I'm making an effort to speak.
Yes.
And the wonderful thing is that we could speak with my lack of English and with my stuttering, with my when we build creation, or not a creation, a work. When we build a work, it's like this. It's an effort because we are not capable, and we start to join little tools.
Yes.
You know, when we start to talk to Isabel and other actors, and it's we have to be open. You know, we have to say, I'm gonna give this to you in hope that you gave something back to me with this.
Yes.
So working is this, you know, is this kind of look, I have this, can you play with me with this? Because, you know, in life, this life, we live a very short life, you know, and we have to play, and we have to enjoy, and we have to be with ourselves. So it's like this. Can you play with me? And I think we start in this point. So when we are open like this, we are very we are in a place that everything happens, you know, because people dive into it, you know. Because like children, when children play each other, they dive in these worlds, in this. So our work is like this. It's like that. It's children outside.
How beautifully said. How very well explained. So the next one is that what are the advantages and disadvantages of the digitalization?
Well, I don't know if it's an advantage or a disadvantage, but I think it creates an illusion that we come to be together. But it is an illusion because we fabricate what we do, what we create is an image.
Sorry, Isabel. Sorry to cut you. Is there radio or television being played behind you? Because I
No.
hear a sound.
No, it's here.
Okay, the neighbors.
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's okay. All right. Okay. That's okay. Please go on. Sorry to interrupt you. It's okay.
No, okay. Well, do you want me to begin from? Se calhar é melhor pedir. I'll try to ask. Okay. Okay.
It's okay.
Do you want me to begin?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if it's a disadvantage or an advantage, but I think that we create the illusion that we are together, really sharing something, because I think that is not real. What we share is not a relation. It's not a real acknowledge from the other, and it is something different. It's maybe it is maybe an image we create. We are always creating images from ourselves, and we create our characters, our own characters. Just like if we are living a life you wanted to live and not the real one. And I don't know. That is a new thing. I don't think if it's an advantage or a disadvantage. When the pandemic began, and we had this first lockdown in Portugal, there were several companies that started to put their work in streaming, and that created several theater companies that started to put their work in streaming, and that created a huge discussion about this. Well, it first of all, theater people were like, we were all like, oh my God, we need to appear because there is that.
Yes.
We need to do it, to show it, to share it.
Yeah.
And that's a new platform to really continue to share it. But very quickly we understood that we weren't really sharing, because the precious thing we have in theater is the encounter. It's the sharing of a moment and a place, and there are lots of things in this complex event that are lost when we share it through streaming. And now, and also, I think there was another thing that that was important here, was that companies and theater companies and theaters, national and municipal theaters, were pressured by politics to show work, because they are supported by the state and they need to show work.
Yeah.
And as they were closed, they started to go on streaming the plays, and that created another discussion about if this is what are you losing here? Are you showing that you can do theater through through a screen? Is this good? Is this really theater? So also there were another questions about some artists that were showing their works through the social networks, and they weren't earning nothing. So they were creating and they were sharing, and people were really profiting from it. So they were seeing and appreciating, and the artists didn't earn. That was a problem too. For us, we had a theater that invited us to create something.
Yes.
But we were really, we just could answer that we felt empty. We couldn't create.
Yes.
Well, the digit. I to talk about it earlier about this because the digital is so easy, is so intuitive that everybody can do something, and now we are living in a time that everything is possible. You know, I can play violin in a public theater. Because I can make a text, justified my well, a person who doesn't know how to play violin, the violin is, I can justify that, and I could be solo in a public theater without knowing nothing about violin and play it. And the most dramatic thing is that a very few people is going to make a critic about that, and these few people, and a small percentage can be very, very honest, can be, oh, this is so bad. Because all over the people say, oh, wow, the we lost the sense of things because we accept all, all the people are artists, all because we lost one thing that it's very important, that this is a tricky territory, but without the technique, without some technical achievements, we cannot do something that the public saw as wow, this is a thing I cannot I can feel, but I cannot do, and the digitalization in this postmodern theories open a door for everything that's possible. Everything is justified. You want to be an artist, you just say, I'm an artist, and I'm going to say text. Well, in this pandemic situations, so I feel very, very sad about some things I view, people saying poetry without anything, any skills, people making animation, when I saw a lot of theaters, some public theaters who are trying to do stop motion animation, but in a very bad way. We have artists that make a great effort to make a great stop motion, and who are these guys that thinks that, oh, okay, we just need a mobile phone and taking photo and no, and now everything is in your face, because digitalization do this. You can see a small portion of that and that and that and that and that, and you never saw all because it's boring and it's bad, but you saw little pieces, and you are and we are start to be well, for myself, I'm very tired, and I'm very, bits and bits and bits and of lack of technique, lack of ideas, lack of stop. Please stop to make. And the digital world is this, it's a lot of garbage. We are starting to do digital garbage, and we are overwhelming of this is the bad thing. The good thing is that it's cheaper than before. Films Now, this kind of North American way to shoot films and to build teams, and it's very expensive. But with the technology, it's come to be easier, less expensive, and this is amazing. I know I have now a studio for myself that that it was impossible at 15 years ago, 10 years ago, so we are now facing a challenge. That is at 18, everybody it's an artist, At 20, at 30, people start to think. And when we have, I have now 45, so when I hope I will achieve 80, 90 years old, 100 years old, but aging, it's a challenge in this digitalization world. Because the rules are the same for hundreds and hundreds of years. You cannot make fool of yourself. You have to be honest in a language, honest in a technique, honest in pursuing a way. So we have digital, it's a tool, but aging, it's a factor that is going to start to separate this kind of.
That's very
and my hope, or our hope, is that with time, universities, public televisions, public theaters start to start to talk inside about this, about honesty, about technique, about what we are doing. This is good, what we are doing, because sometimes now we have 13 films in the public television that are going to be shown about from Portuguese writers, and in my personal view, but it's not a personal review, because these films are so bad, and they treat so bad the Portuguese work, that I cannot understand how nobody talks about it, because they are so bad in the script. They are so bad in the acting. They are so bad in the edits. They are so bad in the music. Well, and nobody talks about this, And the digital world is like this. We just do. We do not have the feedback.
Also, maybe perhaps that is it's very interesting point. It's how very insightful reflection you are giving out here, because a lot of youngsters are watching this conference live, who are students, who are aspiring actors, directors, or even filmmakers, they need to know this thing because, first of all, like you said, that in today's time, people don't criticize a lot. There is very less of criticism, but that is also because people are also very reluctant to receiving criticism. They don't want people to criticize them because they don't like people to criticize them, and which is a major problem with the youth because they when they perform or when they look at something, it's always with a wish to be successful, to be recognized, to be visible, but less with an idea of being criticized. And when you do it over a several times, once or twice, it's okay because they also would want to come and say, okay, tell us to improve. But if you do it more than twice, they don't care. They are like, this person always criticizes, so I don't want it anymore. And which is where their progress stops. So I'm very, very glad that you evoked all these problems. So the next one is digital support during the COVID-19 was quite something. Everyone, everywhere. In India, we had 400% of rise in the subscription of all the OTT, what we call here. It's the digital platforms like Netflix and Amazon Prime and so many other things. Because people were at home, they were bored, and they were watching all the content on such OTT platforms. What do you think? How did you make use of it? Did you ever make use of it as a spectator, as a creator? What is your reflection about it?
Well,
Well, we don't have we don't have any
Okay.
well, we are not in that kind of market. We do not produce. Well, you know, it's cinema now it's a challenge because this shopping mall cinema is for soap opera, comedies, war, fights, and
Yes.
movies. And this city and this center of city cinemas are you know are starting to grow up when we could see some outer cinema. So and the streaming platforms are another thing. Are it's for entertainment.
Yeah.
The problem is that entertainment occupy our discussion borders. All the people are discussion about Netflix or HBO or something. And there are not a lot of people discussion. Well, cinema is not HBO or Netflix. This is companies that make shows for fast consumption. Cinema, it's a way. It's you go to a room, to a dark room, and it's a lot of arts that are joined to in I don't know in a big screen and to living in a different kind of reality with different. Well, it has a different time. It has a different. I don't know. It's that common answer that cinema is 24 photographies over.
Yes.
Yes. we have to think that cinema is 24 paintings with music, with actors, with costume designers, with a lot of people trying to do the very best, not to sell, not to be famous, not to be knowing, not to be not only to think about the film that they are making or the product they are making, know.
Yes.
And it's a different philosophy. So I don't give a damn about Netflix. I don't need Netflix. I don't have this goal. And I just want to have investors and money to produce my kind of films. So these platforms, somehow in a very paradox way, I think that my life now it's easy because everybody wants Hollywood or Netflix or HBO, or everybody wants to make films that are that have this narrative structure, in a 3-part stage, everybody wants to do this. And this is amazing for us because we are doing another thing, and we have all the space we needed. In that kind of thing, these platforms just do a lot of noise. And in the future, I think that is going to happen. What happened in the Hollywood, in the big studios of Hollywood, is that they grow and they can control all the cinemas and all the spaces, but people start to be because people start to be tired, about the same thing all over.
Again and again. Yes, it becomes monotonous.
Yes, so we have a niche. Niche. It's in English. Niche. Yes. So we are in a niche. So art. I think that art. It's always like this. It's we have to find our way to. So I'm quite happy about Netflix, HBO, the big studios, and here in Portugal, universities prepare students for this big production, and I always think about we are a very small country with no market, no Netflix production right now, no Hollywood production right now. So I think it's better to think about reality.
About reality, Yes.
I would just like to add something is that since 10 years ago, we started to use some clips, some video clips, filming clips to show our theater plays.
Yes.
And we started that with a theater play called Spinner, and Joaquim started to record the sheep, the spinner, the spinning lady, the lady that spins, the wool. And so these clips, even until today, we have our our last two clips are the story of the fisherman and Born. And we never filmed the play, the theater. We never joined some details of the play, of the acting play, and join it and do an editing or something. We don't do that because we don't think that will even show what the show is, what the theater play is, because we need to grab the essence of it.
Yes.
That's why, for instance, recording the fisherman, the story of the fisherman, we went to a beach and recorded some moments of the play in the beach, which gives us more the meaning of it, the meaning of the process of what we really, what it is. And the clip starts to have it starts to work as a little, as something that also is it has meaning. It's not just a documentary or like a documentary or a thing that shows what is not showable, because the theater play is not showable through the screen.
Tudo começou quando só havia terra, céu e mar. No mar vivia a escuridão, que murmurava uma canção para embalar as águas. Porque não tinha dinheiro nem trabalho. O homem não tinha nada a que pudesse chamar seu, a não ser uma companheira e 5 filhos que tinham fome.
How do you conceive and create an interdisciplinary project? When you work on an interdisciplinary project, how do you conceive and create it? What is your process?
I think it's very organic. We start with some kind of command. So some kind of command. If it's someone or some entity that wants us to do something, or if it's our will to do something about, and I don't know, we start to gather our skills and the instruments.
But you have to, or with you have well, you can do a work with with your money, with your investment, or you could do a work with
Command.
Commission. Yeah.
Commission. Yes.
Commission.
Yes.
So and the work starts. You know, you have to be in the when you have different forms of art. I think that it's very interesting to be a public. You know, you have to work with other artists and put yourself in a situation that you are public of what these artists are giving to you. And I think that the starting point, well, there is always an idea, the text, but this idea transforms the contamination. So you have to be very open, always very open to this contamination. You know, this image of this 19th century autist artist. You know, this I know where I want to. I'm the leader here. I have a vision.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I really don't like this kind of I never felt with. Well, I don't have vision, so the only thing I can do is to be open, you know.
Yeah.
To different contaminations, inputs, and this idea start to be solved. This idea, it's funny because it could start with your idea, but in the end, it have to be everybody idea or work in the finish, you know. And for me, this is very important. When you end, it's not my film; it's everybody.
It is everyone's. Yes.
Let me just add something.
Yes.
One of our latest projects was Sculpt Dreams, a film, a cinema, a long film called Dreams, and it was based in the exploration of 7 contemporary sculptures, and it was a commission. I'm sorry, yes. Commission. That's okay. It was a commission from the Museum of Contemporary Sculpture in the International Museum of Contemporary Sculpture, and we had seven pieces musical composition from a composer, a Portuguese composer, and. So how did it start? We started to talk. Joaquim was the director, and I was writing,
Yeah.
And we started to add to those 7 pieces, 7 sculptures, and then 7 verbs, because we want to actors to interact with the
Sculptures.
And I think when we think that the verb really does gives us something to act.
It's an action. It represents an action. Yes.
Yes, it's the beginning of something.
Yes.
When you say a verb to an actor, he understands.
Yes.
If you say a name or an adjective, maybe it won't be so straight the way to get it.
Yeah.
So it started like this, and then we started to create a dystopian world that is very much science fiction from Joaquim. His imaginary is a lot about it, and slowly we started to create a storyline, just a line.
Yeah.
And it is very interesting because I think it's interesting this process, because we didn't start within the text. We really started with the commission, with the proposals of the commission. So it was sculptures and the music. And then we started to add, and to compose.
Lovely. So the next question.
This was interesting because you talk about the digitalization, and this film is for the museum.
Yeah.
And we put this film in cinema.
Yeah.
And the time of a museum and the time of cinema is different. So it's very interesting to see how
public behaves.
Yes.
How public reacts to it.
Yes. Well, this is only
True. So
but it's interesting. There were some in the museum. There were some ladies that, the film has a very experimental characteristic, experimental characteristic, and we were like, we don't know how people will react and will read what we did, and there were some old ladies that were talking. Oh, we need to come back here later because I want to see it again, so I will understand this and this and that. And that was so, it was like the Oscar. We won the Oscar.
Wow, beautiful.
Thank you. Worthwhile.
Brilliant. Can we actually show the video clips of this in the conference?
Yes.
If you can send me that clip, I can insert it here, because it will be better for people to see what you are talking about.
Yes, of course.
Okay. So what is the importance of technology in today's time in the traditional art forms? Because, in the art forms also we use a lot of technology. In theater, for example, light and sound and video projection and so many things. But they were in the past somewhere the new technology, because when there was no light or no sound and mic and other things, people used to do theater without them. So when these things came, it was a new technology in theater. And now we think it's part of theater, that you can't do theater without lights or sound or other things. And then it goes on like that. So what do you think is the importance of technology in the traditional arts?
Well, the Greek ancient theater started with a very technological thing, such as a mask that amplifies your voice, and a really wonderful architectonical achievement, which was theater. that where you get profit from the mountain to get a great special place where you can
Here,
listen.
the acoustics were very good, even if they were open. Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
And also the scanner, and also the machine. Deus Ex Machina. Deus Ex Machina.
Yes, Ex
Do you
Machina.
know?
Yes.
The used it a lot.
Yeah.
In the end, someone was coming,
Flying.
flying. It was
Yeah.
the mess.
Yes.
Now it's very interesting because in our association we do a lot of we do a lot of projects, and one of it is a project that uses no light or amplification. It's some place we do in schools, and we go and we just put the set, prepare the set, we transform a room of where a daily room in a theater.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting because it works. Because you could you're not protected with the light, with the black box that protects you and gives the imaginary place to the public, to the audience.
Yeah.
It works.
It does.
Because theater, when you perform, I believe this. Of course, you can, and it's wonderful to perform in a stage and to do it all with all the technology.
Yeah.
But you also can transform any place, daily, in a moment, in an instant stage, which is like a solemn place.
Solemn place, yes.
Solemn. When the time stops there, you are there and you are out of there in that 1 hour 50 minutes.
Yeah. Joaquim, what do you think about it?
No, you know, to that joke that Americans are inventing a pen to go out there to the moon and could write a pen that could write the moon, and the Russians said, "Oh, we just invented this so many years ago. It calls pencil."
Because you have
so it's tools. It's a tool. It's not you could work with every tool you want. It's just a tool.
Yes.
And painters, some painters do not have money to buy some chemicals, and they do incredible drawings with just things they have. Well,
Paul Gauguin was
Paul Gauguin was like that. Yes.
So it is just a tool, we could have a lot of technology and do garbage, and we have and well, it's just a tool.
True.
It's not important.
Very, very well explained, and especially with that joke of the pen that could write on the moon. I think it's very, very thanks. Thank you so very much. So, what 3 tips would you give to the youth today that aspires to develop a career in filmmaking or in theater? What are the 3 tips that you would give to them?
Run. Don't stop.
Run. Yes.
No, but don't look back unless it is really urgent for you and unless you are willing to deliver a great part of yourself and a great part of your life, searching for something that makes sense to do.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yes.
True.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
There is no other explanation. It's about life. You want it or you don't want it. If you don't want it, fine. Be a coacher, be a life coacher, and be a karate master. Well, there is a lot of possibilities. Go to the moon.
Yeah.
Be an astronaut.
Yes, true. Thank you so very much. It was lovely chatting with both of you. And now we will question and answers and session with our students, those who wish to ask you questions. Okay. But thank you for accepting our invitation, being here, and sharing such profound, insightful details and reflections about things. Thank you very much.